All right, moving right along, you're past the halfway mark of tools and tech, and we are diving into our best bets, our top tools, our favorite software on the internet, not just in the marketing space, but throughout our business operation landscape. Let's start with asset sourcing and creation. When I was a journalist, we called it the art. Where's the art to accompany the copy? It's all of your visual assets and imagery, which has evolved, of course, from still photography into videos and animations and GIFs and all sorts of cool types of content. Don't get me started on reels and lives and stories and all the rest of it. So what do we love? Well, the first thing that we need to think about is finding our stills. So this is really kind of our baseline of our art. Where are we getting our stock photography? What are we doing with it once we have it? And, how are we maybe going outside the box and finding some of that stock that is a little bit more unique than other people may have? We're not talking about how to take great photos here. We do have a photo and video course if you're interested in our social media marketing certificate, but hopefully you can find a blend of what we like to call your real photography that's of your people, your hamburgers, your physiotherapy clinic and your staff and your students or your clients, but then also some stock that rounds it out. It's not just flat lays and landscapes and super boring generic stuff. And it sure isn't the cheese balls that are like crowded around the conference room that all have their cheesy suits on. It's real. It's authentic. It's styled stock. There's plenty of companies now doing styled stock really well. If you Google styled stock photography, you'll see what I mean. And I'm going to show you some of our favorites. So within this category, we're going to look at Canva, which is the ultimate graphics creation tool. It's the world's easiest DIY graphic design software, as well as one of my personal favorites, which is actually a Canadian company called Hotstock. And they have an incredible membership. It's very affordable. It takes you way out of that boring Adobe stock photography, no offense Adobe, or those basic subscriptions that everybody uses, the same type of mountain photography or, cool imagery, and it gets you into something that's a little bit more unique. So Canva. You're probably familiar with Canva. It is everywhere from free. I'm going to move my face here, way over here. It's everywhere from free to $149 for the year. You can pay monthly if you want, but Canva Pro is where it's at. This is like the cost of an hour or two of a graphic designer's time, and it is so worth it. Because what you get with Canva Pro is the ability to save your brand. So your assets, basically all the logos and photography that you could ever want, your brand colors in various palettes, your fonts, anything that makes up your brand that you can easily return to and create graphics from going forward. We love the templates inside of Canva. Everything we do at Social School basically is built in Canva, unless we need to seek outside talent from a brilliant graphic designer who's going to create a logo for us from scratch or brand a specific event from scratch. But for the most part, we are using Canva because that is the speed and, dare I say, budget that we have to work with when it comes to the needs of the content channels we're feeding on a daily basis. That was a long way of saying we all need a lot of content. It is difficult to pay for that much and have it, custom created from scratch by a graphic designer every day. And Canva allows us to replicate our templates and tweak things slightly and just continuously build on designs without them looking cheap or amateur. So really encourage you to go in, create some designs. You can make them in any size and dimensions you want for any platform. Let's say you needed a piece of YouTube cover art for your new YouTube channel. Awesome. You just type that into templates and it's going to give you 50 different versions of a starting point that you can then customize with your brand, colors, and photography. I also really love the image repository in Canva. This is where we take our imagery from live events on campus, any kind of photography that we've collected over the years. We might edit it a bit in Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop to make sure that everything is consistent with our kind of look and filter. And then we put it into Canva. We can download them from Canva later, but we can then easily use them in any design at our fingertips. They're all categorized by folder and, need. It's just awesome. I'm going to stop there. And the last thing about Canva Pro is that you can do magic resize. So once you've got your paid subscription for the year, you can then create an image. Let's say it's a series of graphics for Facebook for the month. and then you can resize them into Instagram size. You might have to make a few tweaks because it's gone from, more horizontal to a square image, but amazing. It's just re-dimensionized it for you, and you can export it really, really easily. Next up, back to that stock section. So hot stock is one of my favorite. Haute stock, if you want to maybe be a little bit more French and correct. And it's a great tool. Of course, we've got things like pexels.com, which is my favorite free stock photography. Really, really good. Tons of stuff on there. Stock videos as well on Pexels Video. But I do like the subscription of hot stock, styled stock photography. There's a few others that really kind of take it to the next level and have these different monthly themes. They've got all sorts of additional tools for you and email support, etc. Photo and video editing. Glad you asked. There are so many of these tools today. I asked in Social Club the other day what everybody's favorite were, and there was 15 different answers. But some of our favorites in this realm include Animoto when it comes to making little bite-sized movies for social and especially for our social ad campaigns, as well as HappyScribe when it comes to getting fantastic transcriptions of, say, a video or a live that we did, and captions on things. And then finally, Capwing is my go-to all-in-one video processing tool. We can resize things, we can do captions and transcriptions and sound and overlays and clips and all sorts of cool things. So let's look at Animoto first. This I really love because it does what a lot of the other ones do, including promo.com and Biteable and a few others, but it's just finally more affordable. At $192 US a year, you've got to make a significant amount of videos to get your money back. But if this is something that you need, i.e. animations that are going to autoplay in your newsfeed, or really great video ads that you need for Instagram, or even just videos with captions over top and cool kind of, meme style graphics on them, whatever it is, this is where you're going to use, this is a tool you're going to use like crazy. It's got tons of templates for you to start with, really easy customization and exporting tools, and of course it's built for social platforms, but you can embed the videos anywhere as well, into your website, your YouTube channel, etc. So Animoto is my favorite. I was utilizing promo.com for a long time, and before that, Jamie was really into Magisto, which I'm going to show you later on in the course, and those were both $50 US a month. So Animoto for the win. HappyScribe, this is a great one. Again, automatically transcribe and subtitle any kind of video file. So this is fantastic if you've just done an Instagram live. You pull your file out and you have it transcribed into a now blog post, which is awesome. And if you do it using AI, it's going to read the video itself, say, hey, what do you think about this? Did I get it all right? And you can make tiny tweaks to the grammar or the punctuation, and then you can export it as a blog post or as a ton of social captions. Woohoo! Now we're getting into what we call at Social School, the nicer method of content creation and the content formula, where we create one keystone piece of content, maybe per week or per month, and we use that as the end all be all, and then it pukes out a bunch of other content for us that aren't tier 1, like the video, tier 2 of a blog and an e-newsletter, and tier 3 of social content. And it all stems from this one keystone piece of content. So HappyScribe is amazing for that, and very affordable. You can also buy kind of packages so you're not just constantly paying by the minute. And again, you can have a real human do it, or you can just have great success as well if you let the AI transcribe it for you. Capwing, as I mentioned, it's not pretty. It's kind of got the ugliest logo you've ever seen, and it's not just like, I don't know, some of these interfaces or homepages, I'll say, are not amazing, but this interface is actually really friendly. If you're like me and you've tried to learn, for example, Adobe Illustrator like 16 times over the years, and it's just way too complicated, and you don't actually want to know how to make like new fabric swatches and textures, you just want to know how to export a JPEG or tweak the brightness of your image. This is similar. There are massive, very robust video editing tools and suites out there for video editors and photographers who have that as their full-time job. But for the most of us, we just want something that is going to allow us to like quickly turn an MP4 into a .movie file, or remove the sound from something and turn it into a GIF so that we can, put it on the back side of our website or as the background on our homepage, or add a couple text overlays to different screens, maybe subtitle the whole thing on the bottom. It does all of that and more. And it actually also will do your subtitling. So it's super cool. If you go into Capwing, you just see the many, many choices that you have, and probably you're going to be pretty blown away, especially for the cost. Again, at $20 a month US, you can pay less if you pay annually. It's a fantastic video editing tool, and it should be the only one you need. The other one similar to it that is equally poorly branded is called Clidio. And I was using them hand in hand for a while, and I finally landed on Capwing, but Clidio is also great. Next up, social scheduling. Most of us have been doing this for a long time. We started maybe with the old Hootsuite 10 years ago, and we've now evolved into so many different ones. There is still not one perfect solution in my humble opinion, although we're getting there. We're getting closer. The two that I have landed on, I will tell you, or that our team absolutely loves, but we've got our singular or limited platforms. And from here, I'm going to talk about Planoly, but also Facebook Creator Studio. But Planoly is where it's at for us when it comes to Instagram scheduling of our stories and all of our content. Later is also awesome, and it's grown a lot actually. Sorry, that first slide shows what Later now does. It's added TikTok and LinkedIn scheduling, as well as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Whereas Planoly only does Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. But if you're like me, you schedule the other ones on something called Content Studio, which I'll look at in a minute. So let's consider these are more singular, limited platforms. Planoly is beautiful. Planoly is my favorite Instagram feed on the internet. I use it all the time in our content creation classes because I love the variety. You can kind of see it there in the calendar view window, where they've got this beautiful mix, again, of like stock photography, real photography, graphics, animations, carousels. It's got text sometimes and not others. It's got colors that they kind of like, they ombre one into the next by month for their themes. They just do a really fantastic job. I'm quite certain that they have the most brilliant graphic designers on more than one of them full time. So it's something aspirational for most of us. We don't have the time or the skills to maybe take it to that level, but there's a lot we can learn from it. So it's just beautiful in general. And then I just absolutely love all that we can do with the layout and scheduling. You've got your draft folders for the imagery that you're not quite ready to use that yet, that you just want to keep in the draft folders. We can schedule our posts and move them around according to how our grid looks when we're really focusing on our feed aesthetic. And then, of course, we can also do the same for our stories so that we can schedule in our carousel imagery and our stories that are kind of multi-piece. We can use social selling. We can use their sort of link tree equivalent, and just so much more. It's a really fantastic tool, and I love just how much of a visual aspect it gives us to our Instagram scheduling. When it comes to Facebook, and again, Instagram if you prefer over here, especially as it relates to our IGTVs and our lives, which we cannot schedule or post from Planoly or Later, which is its biggest competitor, I would say. Facebook Creator Studio has come a long way. It hasn't been around for long. It's been a bit glitchy to start, but it's getting better all the time. And it does finally have things like calendar view, ability to schedule in advance, and ability to pre-boost your posts. So if you're scheduling your Instagram and Facebook posts through Facebook Creator Studio, I can not only schedule a draft or schedule a post, but I can pre-boost it so that when it does hit the algorithm or hit the newsfeed live, it's got that key $10 boost behind it to the audience that I chose. So now it's going to get that upper hand right away, which is so important. If you've taken any of our paid social classes, we talk all the time about significant but not too substantial paid content budget each month of $200 or $300, where you're able to put at least $5 or $10 behind every post to ensure it gets seen to fans and non-fans alike, and that you're not just speaking to no one in the days of really strict algorithms and limited organic reach. So Facebook Creator Studio is free. That's maybe the best part about it. It's getting better all the time, and it gives you so many insights as well. We're asked all the time if you're going to have higher organic reach or if you're going to be rewarded for scheduling and posting straight out of facebook.com. So some kind of native environment like Creator Studio rather than a third-party tool like Planoly or Later. And the answer is jury's out. We're told that that's the case, but we have yet to see that, and we've been testing it and trialing it for a decade. The biggest risk I find with a third-party scheduling tool is that you don't necessarily see exactly how it's going to show up when published live to the platform. So just keep note of it. Take note of how it's looking and whether it's working, because the last thing you want to do is go to such great lengths to strategize your content, edit your videos and shoot it in better lighting with professionals and do all this kind of quality over quantity type content actions, only to have it show up looking like garbage when it goes live on the feed, and that it was actually a link, not an image, and that the text was all jumbled together and it just doesn't read very well, and that nobody saw it. It's very disheartening. So our third-party tools are fantastic. If we know how to use them, we're following up with how they're performing, and we're just hyper aware of our reach from doing it scheduled versus live, etc. Doesn't take long to figure this out. You just have to pay attention. Multi-platform tools. So I mentioned Hootsuite already. There's plenty of others. They're all fighting for your dollars in the crowded, SaaS-y environment. And a few of our favorites here include Social Pilot and Content Studio. So Social Pilot, it's an easy one. This is what I dare say would be a great alternative to Hootsuite, which has gotten quite expensive. I used to love Hootsuite. They've finally implemented some of the more modern kind of calendar type views that we were looking for so long, and just kept up with some of the people that have come up behind them. But Social Pilot does all of that, and it's also really affordable. So it at $30 a month, and this is where we're going to spend a little bit more. These are robust automation tools, by the way, so they're not just like a Canva subscription. It's just that much more accessible. You can load up just about every platform into it, including Google My Business, which is a big one to be scheduling to at least once or twice a week, if you can. It's massive for our online search efforts. And the other neat thing about this is you can create a queue. If you look at the photo in the top right there, you see a bit of a calendar of when you want your posts to go out. If you were to just load up a big content bank, then according to your queue, it's just going to drop them in and pull a post from your content bank and publish it live according to that queue at any time. A bigger, more robust, spectacular version of Social Pilot is our total favorite, Content Studio. It's an unsung hero. It's kind of come into the fray to compete with the likes of Meet Edgar and Sprout Social. It's way more affordable, especially if you find it on a sale deal like we did a couple years ago on AppSumo for an annual subscription price of like $300. But even at $49 or $99 US a month, it's a great investment. It is a massive support to your content and your marketing program as a whole. Beyond just having your planning and scheduling and visual calendarizing of your social content, it's also got content sourcing. So I've connected it to our Feedly accounts and other kind of newsreader services that give us all these ideas on marketing, entrepreneurship, digital, technology that we can look at and pull ideas for content for our, other people's content pillar or category of posts or whatever it is. Bottom line, it's a fantastic research, planning, and automation tool. A couple more just slides from here that I want to show you. So this is actually out of our content scheduling and automation course that is the next one in the 360 series here. It's course number 205. And this is where we go deeper into the actual kind of methodology of content scheduling that I mentioned earlier, including the keystone content once a week and the nicer method where we get it done a month in advance. But I just want to show you how Content Studio brings this to life. So if you've taken any of our social school content courses, we often talk about content pillars, which is how we divide up our content into interesting buckets, like, for lack of a better term or version, educate, inspire, entertain. Or in our case, they are social media, digital marketing, websites and SEO, or SEO and SEM, so our paid content, maybe tools, and programs and promos. That's 6 pillars. It's a bit much, but I have to go with what's on my screen. From there, we can create a queue. So we basically categorize our content as we're creating it, and it's going to then be published according to this really neat little queue or calendar that we've created. So every Monday morning at 7:14 a.m., don't tell anyone, but something is going to be published to Facebook, Twitter, Google My Business, and LinkedIn from our social media pillar, because we've loaded up several posts for the month that are in that pillar, and they are going to be pushed out accordingly at that time. So we're filling our content bank. Yes, it's going to spit out and publish that content according to the calendar we've set, but Content Studio takes it one step further by actually categorizing that content and that calendar. So what it looks like when it comes to life is this. I can look at our week ahead and say, great, we've got a really nice mix here of posts that kind of tick all the boxes of our various pillars, and of course the channels, so the various platforms that we're publishing to. I know that's a lot. I just wanted to tell you that Content Studio has a whole lot more to it. If you are interested in more on pillars, categories, content queues, etc., I really encourage you to check out Scheduling and Automation, the very next lab. Thank you for not being overwhelmed with all of that. All right, next up, project management and team collaboration, the old PM, if anybody asks. So on an enterprise level or kind of big picture, big organization, a few of our favorites include Asana, Wrike, FunctionFox. FunctionFox is fantastic for time tracking and project management. If you're an agency, for example, at my former marketing agency, we had to make sure that every project had a certain allocated hours and that everybody was kind of addressing how many hours it would take to do each piece, tracking accordingly, and not getting so far off track that the job lost all profitability. Asana is an incredible project management tool, as is Wrike. They're both very robust. And to be honest, with significant shrinking of various organizations, especially during COVID days, people found that they didn't need something quite so complicated as Asana, and they ended up back at Trello, ourselves included. I love Trello. It is just such a beautiful drag and drop project management tool with sticky notes every which way you want and various boards depending on the project, and a lot of the same functionalities without the cost or confusion. So that brings us to the sort of more small to medium-sized business or solopreneur level project management tools, including Trello, Basecamp, Breeze is another really nice one, and Monday.com. Very visual, super colorful. Trello, if you haven't used it before, is based on these cards. So you've got a board that is, overarching or maybe just specific to one launch or one project or product. In this case, I'm using it as a content planner. This is actually the content planner we sell in the template shop. And it's got instructions, it's got columns and sort of things that you kind of identify and strategize at the outset. And then you start to drop in your content ideas in the final 4 columns on the right. You can do anything here. A simple Trello board could be like, planning stage underway completed, and you're moving things along like a Kanban style. It's really affordable. You can easily add members to your team or outsiders and then assign them to a certain card or project, collaborate and communicate on it, etc. The content planner, here's a more robust version of the blog planner that I just showed you. And, or that was the content planner / blog planner, my apologies. This one just has a little bit more detail. So when you open up a topic card, you can categorize it by what level of content it is, what stage, maybe what kind of category or pillar, etc. So it's a really neat tool that we walk you through. One thing that I love to do is in our content formula, we talk about creating 52 topic ideas for the year ahead. So you take your 4 pillars, you brainstorm 13 topics for each, and voila, you've got 52 weeks of keystone content. So that's where we use Trello, and the content planner does exactly that. When you look at it in calendar view, of course, really nicely, you've got this visual representation of where things fall, which I find so important. Trello, of course, is not a social media automation tool. It's a planning tool. and project management. So from here, we are then able to write our content elsewhere, or write in Trello if we want to, but we use Google Drive, and that's where we write our blog posts, our captions, our e-newsletters, and then we paste it into the social media automation tool. Monday, as I mentioned, is very colorful. It subscribes to the same ideas: cards, boards, columns, categories, people, stages of urgency or priority, due dates, all sorts of different views, from, timeline to list view to calendar view. Highly visual, pretty great. Something that I really, really enjoyed working with. Next up, customer relationship management, our CRM, so important. And of course, what we're talking about here is just managing our database, whether that's 5 customers and prospects or 5,000. So there's some big ones, and they're expensive. You've probably heard of Salesforce or Pipedrive. These are ones that often require some onboarding support and budget, because you have to customize the tool to your company's needs and then make sure everybody knows how to use the thing. And they could be hundreds of dollars a month, if not thousands, depending on how many different kind of plugins you're incorporating into it. Microsoft Dynamics 365 for marketing is huge. Microsoft is trying to get more into the SaaS space and have additional subscription products for people. And a lot of them overlap and do similar things. You've got to kind of ask around here and make sure that you're diving into the right one. Infusionsoft, as I mentioned, was my go-to for so many years. It did so many different things, and that's why I called it my other employee. But over time, I found that actually splitting up some of the jobs that Infusionsoft did to software tools that did it better was the way to go. So sometimes all-in-one is not the all-in-one solution. On a smaller level, we've got really nice ability to use email marketing software as our CRM, as we can do with MailChimp or Constant Contact. You think about the fact that people are subscribing to your e-newsletter, woohoo, and then they're filtering or segmenting themselves, or you're doing that, into various lists according to their needs and behaviors and, stage of the customer journey. That's awesome. That right there is CRM. You're managing what they need, who they are, possibly not managing their purchases, but, in some cases, our email marketing provider like Squarespace is also a CRM that's showing their purchases. Or Kajabi, of course, will do that too. That's where a content management system website takes it to a whole other level. So with Kajabi, for example, not only is it my website, but it's also my e-commerce provider. It's also my email marketing provider, and then totally my CRM. And it's all in one place for real. And that's the difference between something like Infusionsoft or Microsoft Dynamics. It's not also your website or your landing page. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So ConvertKit and Kajabi are the two I'm going to show you here in a minute, but we'll do that when we get deeper into the website and email marketing categories. Speaking of email marketing. So there's no shortage here. They've come so far. If you've taken our email marketing lab, you know how passionate we are about email marketing as an owned channel. So not something that you're relying on an algorithm or a third-party platform. You own that list. And people are subscribing to it and saying to you, basically, hey, send me your promotional content. I can't wait to read your ads. And we don't say that elsewhere on the internet, you and I, as users and fans and followers. We don't want to be interrupted with ads. But when it comes to our inboxes, it's where we most statistically prefer to receive advertising or promotional material, because we can opt in, we can opt out, we can open it whenever we want, we can engage with it to whatever level we want, and we're in control. So email marketing is extremely important. All of these baseline providers, Constant Contact, ConvertKit, Emma, MailChimp, they've come a long way, and they now are so much smarter than they used to be, meaning better segmentation of your list and tailoring of content, better designs and templates to start with, and then most importantly, really neat campaigns or sequences that we can send as follow-ups or nurture campaigns that aren't just these one-off broadcasts. And these are based on triggers or smart elements of, did someone open this? Then they get that. Did they not? They get that. Has it been a year since they subscribed? Great, send them this. That kind of thing. So really interesting dynamic sequences that, again, we go deep into in our email marketing lab. I'm going to show you Flowdesk and ConvertKit. Both of them are fantastic. ConvertKit we moved into when we left Infusionsoft, and then we've now since evolved into Flowdesk. crazy affordable, so refreshing, and just beautiful designs. So if you haven't discovered it yet, I would encourage you to go to the tool shop on our website, because you'll get half price if you click on our Flowdesk link. So $19 a month US forever. They're not going to penalize you or charge you more when you build your list and you receive more subscribers. It's so awesome. And it's got everything you could need. Every time I think, oh, I wish Flowdesk did like really beautiful dynamic sequences, they do. Every time I wish there was a different kind of font or merge tag to personalize someone's name in the email, there it is. There's just fantastic stats, all sorts of additional features they're adding all the time. It kind of blows my mind. So you can create beautiful campaigns here. They're so easy to use that you just want to write these short and sweet, beautiful imagery based emails, because you're not relying on just text and HTML copy, as so many of our other templates do, that leave us to play designer, writer, everything. ConvertKit's a bit more robust. It's obviously a bit more money too. It does allow you to have just deeper sequencing, some additional kind of triggers. But to be honest, there's not a whole lot here that I find that Flowdesk doesn't have. But if you're really deep into your sequences and email marketing, you're probably going to find Flowdesk doesn't have enough. So this is where people graduate to. It's an incredible tool, and really renowned in the email marketing space. So a no-brainer if you're looking for a new provider and you're ready to, pay accordingly. All right, landing pages, list building, and lead generation. We've lumped these all together because essentially what a landing page is a micro website designed to generate leads. And this goes back to the importance of email marketing, building our list, building our subscriber base, and then, of course, converting them like crazy from there. So there's no shortage of these tools, and they're all with a price tag. Sumo, for years, we're paying $99 a month for it. No thank you anymore, because Kajabi and Flowdesk does it all for me now. Lead pages, same thing, about $99 a month, but beautiful landing pages if you need them. But Kajabi has that too. Ta-da! You can tell why I'm so in love with Kajabi. So we're going to look a little bit at lead pages and then also Kajabi, because it really is the definition of all-in-one in my mind, and it's why we teach it and why we love it so much. So lead pages will tout itself as the #1 landing page builder. And I land on them all the time because I'm a sucker for clicking on things, and I get sent a lot of marketing promotions and, lead gen campaigns. And sure enough, you can see or tell that something's been built on lead pages as opposed to on someone's website as a dedicated landing page. It's got one function. It usually doesn't have a navigation or a footer to confuse you or, distract you. It's got one goal, with probably one call to action or form to fill out, to get that ebook, to capture that coupon, to get on the waiting list, or to get through the velvet rope offer, whatever it is. Tony Robbins does them all the time for his new program, or a new author that wants to do an early release of their book, or whatever. Landing pages, so popular. If you can build it on something like Kajabi, well, now you're using your same URL. Amazing. You're not sending someone to leadpages.tonyrobbins.com. You're sending them to, for us, academy.socialschool.io or whatever it is, course.socialschool.io. It's a domain extension. So this is where we've got a tool that does all the aspects of landing page, it has that functionality to generate leads, to build clean landing pages without any other decoration or navigation. And then, bump people around from there with an email follow-up or a thank you page, landing page, or back to our main website or whatever. It just all really works in one single shot. I want you to note that picture in the bottom right, because this is called a sequence. And in Kajabi land, it's called a pipeline. But basically, it's a sequence of tools. So a landing page, followed by a pop-up that you sign into, followed by a thank you page, followed by an email campaign would be a very simple sequence or pipeline. And this is all, again, part of Kajabi, which is so cool and very rare. Most of these websites or landing page builders don't also have all of that functionality. Your CRM, your emails, your triggers, your thank you pages, and your primary website. If you need more kind of clear understanding of what a landing page looks like, here's a few templates actually from Kajabi. You'd find the same on lead pages, or ClickFunnels is another one that's very popular. I just don't want to pay $99 a month just for my landing page software anymore. But that's just me. If you can use your website to do it, amen. The problem is that for a lot of our websites, like Squarespace, for example, or WordPress often, or Shopify, you can't remove all those other pieces of it. So when you're driving someone from your email campaign just to that landing page to subscribe for this, early release concert series, you can't hide all the other stuff, and it doesn't feel so much like a landing page. Website. More importantly, the website. We're here. Okay, we're talking about our favorites: Squarespace, Shopify, Kajabi. Wix has come a long way. WordPress has no shortage of functionality and fabulous options, and it's the number one tool used on the internet. We cover it in our Winning Websites Lab, but today we're going to talk about these guys because they are so user-friendly. They've come so far. They're extremely affordable considering what they are and what they do for you. They should be the number one piece of your marketing program, your website. I'm not saying it's the most important part of your supporting tools and your marketing technology, but without a website, what's the point of all the rest of it? So really ensuring that you've got a solid site that's going to be clear and compelling when people finally get there, and that's going to convert them into whatever it is you need them to do, whether that's just a subscriber, or it's a buyer, or it's someone who's going to fill out a form and book an appointment. We've got to know our goals and know what our people need, and then get them there fast when they land on our beautiful, clean site. Squarespace has been around a long, long time. It is form meets function in every aspect of the word. There's no shortage of beautiful examples on the internet of Squarespace websites. If you download our toolkit PDF, you're going to see this page, and you can click on these exact websites if you like. But there's just so many different versions of them. And anytime someone says to you, no thank you to Squarespace, it's so templatey, don't listen, because there's so much customization that you can do here. There's even, third-party plugin sites that will allow you to import really cool animations and, again, plugins for your Squarespace site, just like WordPress does, or is able to do. So Squarespace is great. It's solid. It is a closed source platform, meaning that it is owned by one company based in New York called Squarespace. It's not open source like WordPress, where different people all over the world are contributing different elements, plugins, widgets, pieces of the website that can crash and compete with each other and leave it really vulnerable. It's a solid, secure, affordable, beautiful solution. Shopify is the same. It's come so far. It's actually my go-to next to Kajabi. We teach it. We love it. It is what Shopify has always been. They've improved their templates now, and the design and the form has leveled up and met the function. Shopify has always been incredible when it comes to e-commerce, more so than any other platform out there. It is renowned for its e-commerce capabilities. And in fact, it is the most high valued company in Canada, by the way, which happened in 2020. Huge news that a little company out of Ottawa is our most valuable company in the entire country. It's totally incredible. It's such a neat success story, and it's dead easy to build and utilize. And beyond that, it's got so many integrations with things like your Facebook shop and, just about every kind of, of course, financial institution, like your payment gateways on PayPal and Stripe and all the rest of them. People love Shopify, and companies want to partner with Shopify because it's so solid. One thing that I often say about marketing technology and our software programs is that we have to watch that when we invest in a smaller one, just like when we go build a custom website with someone who convinces us that's the way to go, and then we're never able to update it ourselves and it's outdated in a year or two and we spent a fortune, is that you want to invest your time and money into the platforms that are going to stick around. There was the wild west of SaaS for a while. It still is, but the cream of the crop have risen. It's kind of like our social platforms. Facebook's not going anywhere. You're okay to invest in that with your time and money. Ditto for Instagram and LinkedIn. Likewise, when it comes to choosing some of these tools, let alone our website builders, choose the ones that really have a solid backbone and that are going to be around and continue to improve over time. You're in really good hands. I've already talked about Kajabi, but I'll show you a few examples here. So beyond just landing pages, of course, we can build our websites in Kajabi. And then the nice thing about Kajabi, which is how it originally started, is that it also hosts courses and learning experiences. So this is where you can package up your knowledge or expertise. You can have these beautiful learning experiences like you're having right now. I shouldn't claim that it's beautiful, but hopefully seamless. We're in the bottom corner there with our Academy site, which you are currently on. This is built in Kajabi. And hopefully your login process was smooth and your purchase process, etc. And that's the goal. So it's also really, really awesome for course hosting or membership hosting. We're nearing the end, I promise. Next up, chatbots, live chat, and customer support. These have grown over the years. You've seen them every which way on every site, and we've almost come to expect them. This is kind of like that situation where you get on a website, especially if it's, your Squarespace website, and you're needing support, and you expect there to be a chat bubble there, a little help desk who is either live or going to respond to you right away within 24 hours or something. But you're no longer hunting for the contact page or some kind of form to fill out. You're just reaching someone almost in real time. And I often say to our team, and we do the best we can with our chat. We're not perfect by any means, and we all have, lives and mental health needs. But there's ways to have out-of-office replies. There's ways to automate it to just say, thanks for being in touch. We'll get back to you tomorrow, as opposed to sitting there live all the time. But when customers or prospects get to this place on your site, especially if it's not just for customer support, but if it's for a final kind of question before they're ready to purchase, or to remove that final objection before they subscribe or buy, you need to be there for them. And I often say to our team, we are crazy if we don't invest our time and energy here. We do so much on the top of funnel, awareness building, advertising, social media, throw money at the problem. And then we're dropping the ball at the bottom of the funnel when they're ready to buy. Like, what are we thinking? This is customer support 101. And we all need to recognize how much the expectation of our prospects has changed, yours and mine included. We expect to be served quickly and that there's going to be someone there in some kind of live chat most of the time. I actually now find it quite annoying, especially with software companies, when I have to fill out a form or a chat box that they don't reply to for, a while, and I'm in the email queue and they write me back 2 days later on Korean time. And then we're playing email tag for days back and forth, waiting for responses, as opposed to a live support that could have been taken care of in like 3 minutes. So just something to consider. So there's no shortage of these, and they range, as I mentioned. There's the chat bot, which is traditionally more of an automated FAQ style. You're in the queue, you're responding with some auto replies, but they get you to the type of customer service representative or live human faster because you've self-segmented. Live chat, different story. There's an actual person there. Or, of course, other types of customer support that could be, all sorts of things, a blend of the two, etc. So we're going to look at ManyChat, CollectChat, and Help Scout. Beamer, I'm going to show you in Module 4 as an example. It's a really neat kind of website update newsreader. It's like, I'll show you. ManyChat, which is specifically for Facebook Messenger, that you can embed on your website and utilize the power of Facebook Messenger instead of building your own chatbot. CollectChat, really neat. It's just got this intelligent kind of different streams of conversation that you can create, especially if you have a business where people are asking the same types of question all the time. Are you open? What's your address? What's your pricing? A chat bot is really great for that, for answering those FAQs. And then Help Scout is my go-to, and I'll show you why. It's got a really neat additional piece that allows you to build help articles and a resource center for people. So ManyChat, automating our Facebook Messenger and SMS chat. What it does is drive more followers, leads, and sales, of course, and this connects to our Shopify store. So you can see in ManyChat that you can build this really kind of neat sequence of if this, then that, type Ant's Q&A. It's almost like a choose your own adventure, and you just write the replies. If they say this, type that. If they say that, type this. And then ideally you get them somewhere from there and they're not annoyed. They've been served properly. So ManyChat is really fantastic for lead generation. And if used well, it sends people right to your Facebook or Shopify shop. It gets them to checkout and it just speeds up the whole process. Collect Chat, same kind of thing. It's an actual chatbot builder, but we're not using it through Facebook. It's its own kind of system, and it's really, really neat to look into if you're thinking about something like that. If you look at the picture in the middle there, the chat by Collect Chat, really cool because those answers have been pre-programmed and someone just needs to click it. And really great too if you're labeling yourself as a virtual assistant. Hi there, I'm Joe or Jane. I'm a virtual assistant. You see this on WestJet's site or Bank of America. There's so many companies that are using chatbots and making it known that it's a fake bot. But again, hopefully getting people answers quicker. Okay, finally, Help Scout. So this is a really neat one. It does similar types of things. So in the bottom left, you can see on the top image on the very far left, I've got two choices. This is the chatbot embedded on our website. As a user, I can go into answers or I can go into chat. And 9 times out of 10, people go into our answer resource section first, which is great. That's where they go to find the articles or quick answers that they need in our FAQs. And if they can't find it, then they come into chat. And we can either set that to live chat, which we get a little ping and we hop into the dashboard and we answer the chat, or we set it to 24 hours out of office. We'll get back to you. Please include your email address, and it lands in our Q&A dashboard, and we get back to them just like we would over email, but in a really nice, quick fashion. If you look on the bottom there, what you're seeing is the hub help desk articles, basically, are these article repositories of a few different companies. Pocketsmith has one. Actually, I need to move my face because I've got a few here for you. So help.joinhoney.com, support.crazyegg.com. You'll notice that those are subdomains, again, that someone has built off of their parent domain, like we've done. So if you look at Social Schools, if I can get there, help desk. So our knowledge base is support.socialschool.io, and it's built in Help Scout. So we've created our articles, which are a series of FAQs that we're asked all the time, and then we load them into our knowledge base, and people can find those really, really quickly. And if they can't, they go into chat. But what's cool is when we're in our chat dashboard, we can see what articles they've read. We can see where they've been on our website to know where they've traversed so far, just how frustrated they might be or how much time they've taken to, read or not read our articles. And we can point them towards an article if relevant, or just get right into the meat of their problem. So Help Scout's really cool, and it's not very much money. It's actually quite affordable. I think we pay $39 a month for our version of it. Courses, community, and membership. We're nearing the home stretch here. This is our final section. So we've talked about Kajabi, but there's also Thinkific, Teachable, maybe Facebook groups, Mighty Networks. Our favorites, of course, are Kajabi and Mighty Networks. Mighty Networks is where we've built our social school community. We're really proud of it. It's called community.socialschool.io, and it's allowed us to pull our community off of Facebook groups. Why? Well, because it's really nice to take it off of Facebook so people aren't so distracted and that they don't feel like it's, just a social platform. It is meant to be our private community of alumni, students, marketing professionals that are collaborating, communicating, knowledge sharing in a private space. And within that, we can also host courses, which is really cool. Subscription models. We can have paid content and free. All kinds of community options. Mighty Networks is really incredible. You're probably going to see more and more of it in the years ahead. You can have an app and log in through the Apple Store, through the app, and then find your community that way. It's just a really, really neat platform that I'm enjoying immensely. All right. We've made it to the end of our best bets. Thank you for sticking that out. And I hope that there was some in there that intrigued you. As I mentioned, they're all and more in our tools section on our website, and the downloadable PDF is there as well if you want a PDF version of all of these to follow and kind of sum up your needs, print them out, circle the ones you think are winners, and give them a go. I will see you in module number 4, where we're just going to look at a few stacks of how we've combined these different platforms strategically and hopefully map out a plan for yourself going forward. I will see you there.